This week on Just Jason Keto, we're making Scotch eggs that are low carb. So stick around and we'll get started. What's up everyone? Just Jason here. Welcome back to another recipe video here on the channel. This week we're doing something a little different. Usually we get into making different kinds of chaffles, but just wanted to give something else a try. Now this recipe is based off of a video I saw from Steve at Serious Keto, which I'll leave a link for down in the description. What we're going to make today is we're going to make some keto Scotch eggs. So if anyone that doesn't know what Scotch eggs are, we've got some hard-boiled eggs here. Now they are hard-boiled. You can use soft-boiled eggs as well, and typically it's probably more often than not using soft-boiled eggs, but I made up some hard-boiled eggs for other things, so that's what we're going to use today. And then I've got some pork panko here, which is basically just some pork rinds, like a bag of these baconettes pork rinds, blitzed up with some aged cheddar cheese here, half a cup of this as well. Again, this pork panko is also based off of a recipe from Steve at Serious Keto. So definitely check out his recipes. He's inspired a lot of people to try different things with the keto recipes. So, and then the other part of this recipe is sausage that goes around the eggs before you bread them. Now I hear it's kind of hard to find sausage that is pre-packaged just as the sausage meat. So I tried to find the cleanest sort of sausage links that I could find, and what we're going to do is we're just going to cut them open and get the sausage meat out of them to make these Scotch eggs. So not too many ingredients, and then we're going to cook them in the air fryer when we're done. But let's get started getting this sausage meat ready, and we'll start putting these Scotch eggs together. Okay, so I've broken down 5 of these Italian sausage links. These are just a regular mild Italian sausage. Of course, you could use any kind of sausage you like if you want spicy or hot or just regular. So what I'm going to do is I've got my cutting board down, and I've got some parchment paper, and I've got a rolling pin here as well. And we've got another sheet of parchment paper here. Now what I'm going to try and do is sort of separate this and roll out, enough for 1 egg at a time. We're going to do 4 up here. Hopefully there's enough sausage here for the 4. Bear with me here. This is kind of something fairly new to me. I've never made these before, so let me know down in the comments if there's an easier way to do this. But I figure we'll try and get this sausage flattened out as much as we can to an even consistency kind of thing to make it easier to form around the eggs, because the idea is we want to wrap fully encase the eggs in this sausage. So we'll give that a push down first kind of thing to start flattening it out, and then we can use the rolling pin just to try and get an even thickness on it. Now again, hopefully this is the right amount for 1 egg. It does look like it should cover the egg no problem. And again, I think we're just trying to keep it as uniform as possible for when we want to wrap the egg in it kind of thing. So that's looking at like it's about a 1/4 inch thick kind of thing. As you can see, it's not super consistent in shape, but that should work out all right. So why don't we take one of our hard-boiled eggs here, and then we'll start trying to see if we can get this this sausage wrapped on the egg, which does not seem to really want to come off of the parchment paper the way I wanted it to, but we should be able to get it to work here. Again, this is the first time I've tried making these, so obviously I'm not doing everything exactly the way it should be done, but I'm hoping they turn out just fine anyways. So that was obviously too much for each egg. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna use whatever it takes to cover the egg itself. Now we wanna make sure that any of the seams are completely sealed, kind of thing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set each one of these aside as we go, and then we'll continue on making these up, and then we'll move on to the cooking process. So now that we have our hard-boiled eggs all wrapped in sausage, which 4 hard-boiled eggs really only took about 4 of these sausage links. I wasn't sure how much it was going to take, so I got 5 ready, but I definitely didn't need that much. And again, really just trying to get them as uniform as possible in the wrapping of the sausage. So the next step here is basically to coat them in this pork panko. So basically I'm just going to put them in the panko here, and then transfer them to another plate so that we can get them ready to cook. So basically all we're trying to do is evenly coat them. You know, I like to use a bowl for stuff like this, because then you can just roll it around, get them evenly coated. And you're just trying to make sure there's no bare spots. So what we'll do is we'll go through the first round here, and we'll get them mostly coated, kind of thing. And then once we're done, we'll make sure that they're all good and evenly coated. Set that aside. Now again, we're going to cook these in an air fryer, just until they're done, kind of thing, which will be nice and quick. Should only take 25 minutes or so in the air fryer. So there's number 3. It looks like we should be good on the amount of pork rinds or pork panko we have here. Now again, this was a bag of the Baconette's plain pork rinds. You always want to make sure the pork rinds you find are just basically pork rinds and salt and lard, if anything. So there's our 4 Scotch eggs covered in the pork panko and ready to go. So let me get the air fryer out and we'll start cooking. Okay, so we have the air fryer out. This is the Tyfer Dome 2 air fryer. If you haven't seen the review I did of this air fryer a few months back, I'll leave a link up to it in the description. Really like this for recipes like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to preheat the air fryer at 200 degrees. We'll preheat it for 6 minutes, kind of thing, and we'll get it ready to go, and then we can start cooking our Scotch eggs. Okay, now that our air fryer is preheated to 200 degrees Celsius, which is about 390 degrees Fahrenheit, we're going to add our Scotch eggs in here. Just spread them out the best we can, kind of thing. Hopefully they fit in there all right. We've got the drip tray in to catch any fat at the bottom, kind of thing. So we're going to put those in, and then we're going to air fry at 200 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes. And then what we'll do is we'll flip them about halfway through. Okay, so we're about halfway through our 15 minutes of cooking. So let's take a look. We'll give them a flip here. Looks like they're browning up nicely. So that's 2. Get the third one here flipped. There we go. So we'll start that again, and we'll come back in about 7 or 8 minutes, and we'll see how they turned out. Okay, so our Scotch eggs have been cooking for a total of 15 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius. Nice and golden brown, as you can see here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take them out and we're just going to set them aside on a plate for a few minutes, because obviously right now they're going to be way too hot to try. But yeah, they look really good, smell amazing in here. So what we'll do, like I say, is we'll just let these cool a little bit, and in a few minutes we'll cut it open and give it a try. Okay, so our Scotch eggs have cooled down for a few minutes. They're probably still actually too warm to try, but you know, we're gonna give it a go anyways. So as you can see, nice and golden brown. They are a little bit darker on top and on the bottom where I flipped it, mainly because my air fryer does have a fairly shallow pan, so it was closer to the heating element, but they still they're not burnt by any means. So why don't we grab one of these here and we'll just put it on our cutting board kind of thing. They're still quite warm, obviously, but I've just got a serrated knife here, so let's try and cut one of these open, see how it turned out. So there we go. Those look amazing. You can definitely tell that the sausage is fully cooked. Now again, these would be great as with soft boiled eggs as well. But like I said, I had hard boiled eggs for something else, so that's what we went with. So again, there's a nice cross section of the Scotch egg. Now these smell really amazing, so I'm going to give it a try, see how it turned out. Yeah, that's really tasty for sure. I'll definitely be making these again. Really not that hard to make, you know. You can make them ahead of time and, you know, get them ready for parties, and it just takes 15 minutes to cook. So I would definitely recommend trying these. And again, this is all based on a recipe I saw Steve from Serious Keto make. Again, the video will be in the description link down below, so make sure you go check out his channel as well. He's a huge creator in the keto space. Most people know who he is already. So yeah, I would definitely give these the thumbs up. Consider trying them if you want a nice quick tasty, you know, snack kind of thing. And then let me know what you think down below. Obviously this video and sort of me making these was a little clunky because I haven't done it before, and you know, in true fashion for myself is a lot of times I don't even bother trying things before we video the recipes. So hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. We go live every Thursday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and we release a new video every week. Sometimes it's recipes like this, a lot of times it's chaffle recipes. So that's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Keep on thriving, my friends.